Big Brother Australia 2025, episode 11, and I'm agreeing with Bruce again. What is this life? At the start of the episode, Coco's really happy that she got to speak to her kids, and Jane said, "When you're a good person, good things happen." I wonder if many good things happen to Jane. Really interested to know that. Alana and Emily are speaking to Maya about Ed, and I can't remember the last time I cringed as much as I did in this episode. And it was just so difficult to watch. I must admit, I felt kind of bad when I was watching this episode because from day one I've been saying Maya does my fucking nutting, right? But the day she was talking about being 23, and I try and treat everybody the same, it doesn't matter what age they're, but when somebody's younger, you know, they get leeway in certain situations. So she's in the diary room saying she's a 23-year-old virgin. Aye, okay, that's all fine and well. She's thinking she might get her first kiss in the Big Brother house with Edward. For some reason, everybody's fancying Edward. My pal messaged me pictures of him before it even started and was like, "Oh, I bet him." Now, I was going to say he's not really my type, but nobody's really my type, to be honest. I just don't fancy him. So when Maya was getting all excited and she's saying, "Oh, I could kiss Edward" and all that, and Alana was in the diary room saying, "I want to encourage her and I want her to like have a good time and like have her crush and stuff, but I also have to try and keep her a bit grounded." So I was feeling really bad for her, but then Vinny says, "Look, I've spoke to Edward, he doesn't want to kiss you. Don't get your hopes up, don't embarrass yourself." And I was actually so glad that he said that because he didn't say it in a nasty way, he was just being honest. But Mia was still like, "No, no, 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 like we could kiss, right?" Sorry, I keep calling her Maya, right, but I think her name's actually Mia. Excuse me for that. The phone rings in the living room and Edward answers, and the narrator guy said the Australian public have been voting for what happens in the house. And I was like, this is what I've been talking about with Big Brother UK. We need more audience participation, audience voting for things that happens in the house, audience voting for punishments and stuff like that. It just needs to be more like Big Brother Australia. So he answered the phone and he had to be chained to Jane all day. Now, how funny would that have been if it was Bruce, right? But Jane was having the best time ever. Mia was raging. I mean, obviously Edward doesn't fancy Jane, right? I would hope he doesn't. Coco and Bruce were out in the garden talking about surfing, I think. And she says, "Do you have the same undies and the same, like, whatever it is you call swimming shorts?" And he says that he's got the same ones, he doesn't change them. And she says, "Oh, that would give me the ick." One thing that I cannot fucking stand is when I was in Turkey last year, I was at the pool, right? You could hear the English people coming from a fucking million miles away. And this isn't me just against people from England, right? It's all people from the UK pretty much. You hear them coming. And all these guys came in and they had on their Calvin Klein boxers. And I'm thinking, are you trying to show off the fact that you can afford Calvin Klein boxers or the fact that you're wearing Calvin Klein boxers instead of just spending extra money on actual swimming trunks? Calvin Klein boxers are not made for the pool. Like, you come out the pool and it's stuck to every fucking crevice and it's the bulk. I don't understand people that do that. Also, I can't remember the word that she used for like swimming shorts or whatever, but let me know in the comments if you know what Australians call them. The phone rings again, Colin answers and he gets a coffee and he's thinking, is this a trick? But no, he actually got a coffee. Let me know in the comments if you were in the Big Brother house and Big Brother phones you up and says, "You can have any drink you want." I think he did say coffee, right? But if he says, "Can you have any drink you want?" what you asking for? Because I don't drink coffee. Mine's would be lime Fanta. And actually, I don't think that they sell it in most places in the world, but I know that Australia had the lime Fanta slush drink in McDonald's at one point. The Australians are really living their best lives over there. Jane and Edward found Holly and Coco's mugs for where they were sneaking the coffee. And I know that they're like, "Oh, I really need my coffee in the morning," whatever. It's just pure fucking selfishness. I don't understand why they don't just take the coffee when they get it and spoon it into everybody's cups evenly and then that's your coffee and that's it. I personally don't drink coffee, so I would take my share and then I would use it as a bargaining tool later down the line. Mia was sitting at the table and with Edward, Alana, and some other people, and she says, "Oh, should I call my sister?" Right? So she picked up the phone and she's having this full blown conversation, and Edward's like, "What the fuck? She's batshit crazy." Now, I would have been more annoyed at the fact that she was standing there for ages holding the phone and preventing calls from coming through when other people could have been getting calls for their family or surprises or whatever. But Edward was taking this whole situation way too seriously. Aye, okay. It was a bit weird. And aye, okay, when he asked her about it, she says, "Oh, I'm psychic, I know what my sister would say to me." It wasn't really helping my case, to be honest with you. But he was saying, "Oh, nobody's going to date you if you act like that." How the fuck does he know what MD's going to date? As she said, he's a 30-year-old man and he's single. And he had the fucking audacity to say to her, "Oh, why do you act like that? Do you want to be a 40-year-old woman acting like that?" Newsflash, she's not 40. She's 23, so back the fuck up. And she says, "I was just playing." And he went, "Oh no, but if you picked up the phone and says, 'Oh, Big Brother told you to fuck off' or something, that would be funny. But you were having a full blown conversation and answering as if she was speaking to you." And she says, "No, I was just playing." Aye, okay, I don't really get what she was doing, right? But at the same time, why was he so fucking, like, aggressive about it? Mia finally puts the phone down and it rings again. Emily answers and she's like, "Yes, yes, yes." She's been waiting for this. So she gets called to the diary room and there's an 18-inch pepperoni pizza. Big Brother says, "You can have this pizza to yourself or you can share it between 8 people and you don't get a slice." I knew straight away. I knew straight away that she was going to share it. Personally, I'd have shared it because I don't like pepperoni, but she was the one saying that she really fancied a pepperoni pizza. So Mia was really upset about Edward's comments about how nobody's going to date her if she acts like that. Right, get a fucking break. She's only 23. She's in a house. She's fuck all else to do, and she's crushing over this fucking 30-year-old for whatever reason. So she says, "Oh, can I have a word with you? You really hurt my feelings." Blah blah blah. So Jane was there because she was attached to Edward, and she says, "Why is it hurting you so much? Why is it bothering you so much?" Obviously, try to get Mia to come out and tell the truth, right? So as she was about to tell him, and Jane's going, "Just be honest, just be honest." I was so cringing. I was scrunched into a tiny ball. I was like, "Don't tell him because he's clearly not interested in you, so just fucking let it go, right?" But she says, "Oh, I've had feelings for you. I've had really strong feelings for you." And he says, "Oh, I see you as a friend." And that was that. So then she's in the diary room saying, "I think that I should just kind of like drop this now." That was a good thing to happen to her because she was crushing over this guy who clearly wasn't interested. Vinny tried to be nice about it. And actually, Jane did the right thing by bringing it up and saying, "We need to clear the air here." The phone went again, and the housemates had to answer questions about each other to win money, and they ended up winning $20 and they bought coffee and snacks. I've just turned my page onto my notes where it's talking about Mia telling Edward that she's got feelings for him, and in massive writing, I've wrote, "I feel sick. Oh my god, I feel sick. I can't cope. I can't look. Oh my god, I can't look. I can't cope. I feel sick." So that was how I was feeling exactly in that situation. When they were having dinner, they were playing a wee game, like two truths and a lie, and they had to guess things about each other. And that was nice. We don't really see a lot of that in Big Brother UK either. At the end of the episode, Coco climbed into bed with Bruce, and Vinny and that were saying, "Oh, I've never platonically hugged one of my friends in the dark." And Bruce told her to get out of the bed. So she went over to her own bed and she's all laughing, joking, and he went over and says, like, "Don't be doing that, right?" And even though I kind of felt like he didn't have to go over at that moment and say that to her, I think that he did the right thing by telling her to get out of the bed. Because he has said to her, "We're not progressing this outside the house. Our feelings aren't going to grow. It's physical touch only." And while we know he's been in the diary room saying, "I like her," and she's been in the diary room totally in denial, he's done the right thing by setting a boundary. And again, I can't believe I'm fucking agreeing with Bruce. Let me know in the comments what you thought of this episode. Let me know what you thought of Mia telling Edward that she liked him. I was dying. And also, Sunday is a double eviction. I can't wait. See you tomorrow. Bye.